Hi, I'm Andy Beck. I'm an artist and photographer based here in Teesdale in the North Pennines of England. In this series of short films, I'm going to show you how I converted my Nissan NV200 into a campervan and mobile studio. The films show the various stages of the process. Now, I'm no expert, I've never converted one of these campervans before, so there will be trials and errors in these films. I hope you get information and inspiration that you can adapt for yourself if you're thinking of converting not only a Nissan NV200 but any other sort of small campervan. Feel free to leave questions or your own ideas in the comments boxes below, and wherever necessary I'll give you a reply as soon as I can. The whole of this conversion has cost me just over £1,100. So here you'll see what you can do for that sort of money. Here's the film. Well, that's all of the insulation within the panels and doors of the van. Now I'm going to add a vapor barrier over the front of these using the foil wrap and fixing it with the foil tape. I have to remember, of course, that I need to locate these holes where the trim clips go to hold the panels in place. So by measuring up, cut round, fixing tape, and then make the holes. Straightforward. Even better that the foil is exactly the right height for the panel. And this material cuts quite easy with scissors. That'll go on there, just need to mark and round off the corners a bit. Use the scissors to trim those up. Just use a bit of aluminium tape to hold it in place for now, to get it in position. So I'll tape it all up. Press it down firmly, because you've got to remember that what you're making here is a vapor barrier. This will stop condensation from within the van going to the outside skin and condensing and forming water on the inners of the van and bringing in rust. And then, of course, behind this is the thermal packing of the insulation wall. I've done the two sliding doors and the tailgate with the foil vapor barrier. Now I'm going to work on the roof, which should be quite simple, and I'll use again the aluminium tape to seal in the wool insulation with the vapor barrier. That shouldn't take too long, and it'll tidy it all up, and then I'll work on the two wooden side panels. Same as before, I'll cut out several strips of the same length, attach them and then fine tune them with the scissors so they get a good fit and take them up. It's very cold today. Even here in the workshop, I've got a thermometer up here and it's showing -1. But at least I haven't got the wind chill. It's bitter outside. We haven't had any more snow overnight, but I think it's down. I think someone was saying in the street earlier that it's down to like -5 on the wind chill factor. So I'm glad I'm inside, but even so, it's not very warm in here. Hopefully the insulation works, so if I went out in this, it'll be quite toasty inside the van. Let's get on. I think the simplest method is to put a couple of little stretches of tape roughly in the middle of the foil, lift it up towards the roof, and then if you're careful with it, you can adjust the tape so it can be moved along. First though, I'll cut the extra width off it. This is 60 centimeters wide and this is about 50. So this time I'll use the Stanley knife and rule for a good straight cut. A couple of little bits of the tape roughly in the middle to hold the foil in place when I put it up to the ceiling. And if you're gentle with it, even though it's very thin foil, the tape can be replaced as long as you don't press it down too hard, of course. All I have to do is find the edge of it. Not too easy when you've got cold fingers. So the idea is to get the foil, put it up, gently tack it in place until it's trimmed to fit, and then I will tape around the outside edge and seal it all in. So I'll get a couple of extra pieces of foil tape ready to tack up. And I'll fit those just to the ends, and then it will roughly hold the foil in place while I cut these corners with the scissors. Now, the foil can only go up as far as the brackets that hold the panel in place, which have got the holes in for the trim clips. So that will give me the guide as to the level of where I want the insulation to go. You need a good fit, but it doesn't have to be perfect, because the tape will form a really good seal whenever you come to do the final securing of the foil. That's the first section in place. I found that the best thing to do is, when I use this aluminium tape, is just to use short strips at a time and do one section at a time, because this is really sticky, and if it comes off the backing paper it gets all creased up and you waste a lot of it. So just use a little bit of a time, put it up, and then work your way along to finish each section. It does sag a little bit here in the middle. I've tried my best to get it as tight as possible, but of course when the panel goes in, it's all going to be flush to the supports anyway, so it won't matter, and it's hidden out of the way. So I'll do the next two sections, and it should be easier because I don't have to trim it quite so much, and I'll get the whole of the ceiling insulated. Isn't it annoying when you get halfway through a job and you think, I know, I should have done it this way? And that's what's happened. I was struggling to support the foil up to the roof while I was taping it, and I realised I had some double-sided tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip a couple of little pieces and attach them to some of the metalwork that's showing on the ceiling itself, and then I can put the foil up, attach it to double-sided tape, and then get a much neater job than I've got here. And if I'd done that, I couldn't actually have done it very well here because there are none of the ribs that I've got in this next section, but let's see how it goes by using the double-sided tape first. It should work. Right, so that's the double-sided tape in place, and I've put the foil up. I've already cut out an aperture where the interior light is, so I know where the foil will sit. And I've just used the aluminium foil to seal it all up. Oh well, that's learning by experience, isn't it? Okay, so I've finished putting the foil to the ceiling of the van now and sealed it all up with the aluminium foil tape. The next job I've got to do is go around to these little holes that are left in the framework and cover those with a bit of foil just to seal them all in. Then I'm going to take the wooden panels and attach the foil to the back of the ply so I can just set that straight in. because they've got the cubby hole shape, it would be impractical to put the vapor barrier straight onto the framework of the van here like I did on the sliding doors. So hopefully that short film will give you a good idea of how I completed that stage in the process of converting my Nissan NV200. Do check out my channel for the other films which show all the other stages of the conversion from start to finish. If you've enjoyed the film, do click the like button, and hopefully you may feel inclined to even subscribe to this channel. You may also be interested in my other work, my proper work, my painting and photography. If so, do have a look at my website. The address is www.andybeckimages.co.uk. Thanks for watching.